Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. We are so excited to get started today and to help you go live with some digital engagement tools, make sure we have everything you need to get your apps live and understand the onboarding process. So again, good morning. Great to be with you. My name is Arthur Van Dyke. I am the Director of Platform Support here at Subsplash, and I get the pleasure of equipping our onboarding specialist team and our technical specialist teams and making sure that they give you guys great care during the onboarding process and also just technical help for the life of the client. So we get to really just make sure we're serving you guys as we partner together on this mission. So I'm also joined today by Dalton Anderson, one of our best onboarding specialists. He has just been amazing at getting hundreds of clients, to understand how to build their app and also how to find really great value with the tools and to achieve their vision. And so really excited to have Dalton with us today. He'll be really sharing the meat of the webinar today, helping us move it forward. We'll also send out a recording a little bit later today of this webinar. If you'd like to check back on anything, we'll definitely do that. All right, so as we go through, we do have a great little Q&A section here. So on the bottom of your screen, kind of where your menu panel is in Zoom, you'll see a chat, but also a Q&A. So today, if you could use the Q&A for questions, that'd be fantastic. Just to make sure everyone can find it, go ahead and just type in maybe your city and state, say hi, just see so that you guys can find that Q&A there. So we got Wichita, Kansas. Thank you, William. Awesome. Fantastic. All right. So that's the Q&A. And at any time during the webinar, feel free to put a question there. We will answer some of them. We have people kind of standing by that will answer some of the questions during the webinar. Others, we might wait till the end. So we will end with about a 10 to 15 minute Q&A section where we can all kind of talk together and just share some questions and get some great answers there. So thank you for sharing that. We got people from all over here. That's fantastic. Good morning. I'm glad to have you guys. All right, so at the end of the webinar, we hope that you'll take away three big things. So one is that you're gonna have some tangible ways to actually use the technology today. So you can find value with these tools. So it's kind of cool. There's a lot of things you can do with our platform even before the actual mobile app goes live. So we wanna make sure you're aware of those and you can kind of see it working for you right now. The second thing is we're becoming just really, really good at helping people build out like a really elegant, simple version of the app to start with that will pass the store review and get it moving and out into the world. And then working with people once the app is live to add in refinements and iterate towards excellence in the app. So we're going to help you understand how to build out that beautiful, simple version of the app. And then finally, we have really put a lot of structure and thought into creating a new team within our support team at Subsplash, the onboarding specialist team. And so we've added a lot more staffing to the onboarding specialist team. And we really want to make sure you understand how to access them, how to get on appointments with them, and the resources that will really help you thrive kind of throughout this process. So very excited to share that with you. All right, so a quick poll for you guys that you can engage with real quick. Just curious, what channels are you currently using kind of day to day for digital engagement? So how are you connecting with people out there in your congregations, in your businesses, in your ministries? So take a second, you can check all that apply, and then we'll share that just to kind of get a sense of what is kind of most important to you guys. Awesome, give you just another second here. All right, so we got quite a few people that are using websites, social media. It looked like it was the winner, which is fantastic. And this is great because, depending on the channels that you're using, many of these channels have really direct applications within our platform, whether we're linking out to them or they're natively involved in our platform. And this really, really kind of connects in with what we're doing today in terms of what we call the discipleship journey, because we recognize that at Subsplash, like our goal, like we're here to help make sure that the truth of Jesus is incredibly accessible. And we do that through mobile technology and really just trying to innovate and find tools that help the church and help to further that mission. And so we know that the work you're doing each day, that you wake up to do is to equip the disciples in your community. And we think that, we can partner with you in this really specifically in this discipleship journey. So we want to help with that first connection point, to encouraging community, and then deepening that connection and increase access to the Word of God. And that's really the fun goal that we get to take part in every single day. It's so fun to take part in that goal with you. And we know that as you look at just society right now, we're seeing more and more people, just by the circumstances that we're in, being driven to mobile engagement, being driven to screens for church services, for information. And so we're seeing a huge increase in people using their mobile devices day in and day out. So like, hey, that's a great opportunity for all of us to jump on board and really make sure we're making the best out of the technology that we have. All right, so this is the time. We can work on this strategy right now. And so without further ado, what I'd love to do is get into these 3 goals with you all, and to make sure that we hit on each of them and also answer your questions. And we really think we can help partner with you. And I'm going to jump onto the Q&A and be chatting with some of you guys on the side here. But I'm going to turn it over now to Dalton, who's going to work on our first main goal.
Awesome. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining today. Super excited to help walk you through these 3 goals and introduce you to some really awesome tools that you can get started using through your dashboard, on your website, even before your app is live. A lot of really awesome areas we're going to hit on. So let's go ahead and get started with number 1, which is getting value out of your tools today. So with getting value out of your tools today, one important aspect of our platform I really can appreciate a lot is going to be our web tools. So that's going to include web embeds. So if you're interested in really trying to streamline a lot of processes with getting media up, and not only to your app but also to your, let's say, your website, maybe you want an area for giving in there, maybe you want your events, you can do this really simply, easily with web embeds. So for those of you that don't know, web embeds, just a great functionality that allows you to establish a connection from your dashboard to your website. So streamlining a lot of that content on over, and it's really just as simple as copy and pasting. So again, some of those things that you can get from your dashboard that may also be within your app as well, but getting those into your website are going to be audio and video content, getting a donation area set up within your site, and also events. So again, all of these things can be used before your app is live. So let's talk about that a little bit right now, and let's go ahead and see this in action. So I will go ahead and share my screen. So this is my very own church's website. This is Sage Hills Church here in Wenatchee, Washington. And they have an awesome page set up. They're using Snap Pages, which is our website builder here at Snap Pages. And in their website, they have a web embed set up for their sermon library. Looks super great. And this is pulling from the same area in their dashboard that's also being called upon for their app. So in other words, they're having the same content shown on their website and app simultaneously. And you can see how nice this looks when you take a look at all their media series. Maybe you click into Acts, for example, and you see some of these different media details where you can begin to watch That's Why We Pray, or Interrupted, different media items that they've gone ahead and created through their dashboard. So this is just an example of a media embed, which is really awesome to check out. Here's a great example of a giving embed where I can go ahead and place in my specific tithe or offering, select a fund that I want to give to, and go ahead and get that donation on its way. And then here is a great example of event embeds where you can go ahead and schedule out recurring events. Maybe you have a prayer meeting coming up and you want people to know about that. Maybe you want to share that. This is all powered through web embeds. So we're going to go ahead, do a quick demonstration of how to set these up today. And we're going to specifically focus our time on media. If you have questions about the other ones, getting those set up, feel free to drop them in the Q&A. That'd be awesome. So let's go ahead and just get started real fast. So for today's webinar, I've gone ahead and prepared some content for us all through my own Subsplash dashboard here. And where we want to start with getting media to appear on our site is in our dashboard. So the way we do that is on the far left hand side, we have a media on demand library. This is where we can upload our different messages, audio or video files to create different collections. So you can see here, I created a collection called State Focus. This particular media series has 5 items in it, and it's really super simple to get items created, just a matter of going into this on-demand menu and clicking on Upload Media. Once I do that, I can find the particular audio or video file that I want to show up in my app or website really simply. I have a lot of different items here. Let's go ahead and just add in 2 screen recordings for an example. And so you can see once I upload those files, they get submitted for processing, and then I can go ahead and proceed to fill out these items with different details or artwork to really give these media items a special touch. And that's what allows for certain details, like in this particular message where we can see this description, you can access notes, those sort of items can all be found at the media item detail page. So for the sake of time though, I've already got this nice list curated with this handful of 5. And so I want to show you guys how to get media series like this one, stay focused, showing in your website in no time. So once you've gone ahead, assuming you have uploaded your media, as you can see, super simple to do, let's go ahead and get this embed established. So where we do that is off to the far left-hand side, click on web, and then we have this embeds option here. Upon selecting that, we have this particular menu for media library. So we're just focused on media for now. We'll go ahead and click preview embed to check this out. So it'll give me a nice preview screen. I can see what it will sort of look like if I put it into my site. You could even click on it and start accessing details. Off to the far right-hand side here, I can go ahead and choose how I want the parameters to be set up for this embed. Maybe I want it to cycle in certain items or maybe not have other ones appear. That's all controlled on this menu. Currently, I have it set up the way I want, which is set up so essentially anytime I create a new series, it should automatically populate into my site for me. So I love that feature. I want to make sure that's established there. And all I need to do now is click on copy, this embed code portion, and really we just need to place this right into our site. So I'm going to move on over to my own website builder. This is Snap Pages. You guys have access to Snap Pages through your dashboard, but you can use Squarespace, Wix, what have you. Same concept applies with embeds. So we're going to navigate to my media page. And as you can see, my media page is kind of looking sad, right? There's nothing there. And I don't want that. I want some stuff in there. I want it to look great. I want awesome media. So I'm going to click on edit this page. And as this loads up, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to find the special kind of block to drag and drop into my screen and then copy that code or paste it rather into this particular media page. So got to click on blocks, select the code block option and place it right in. Next, click on create new and simply paste that code. Once I go ahead and save this, I want to just double check it's saved and published. We'll exit out of this menu and proceed to my live website where I can see those changes in real time. So let's go ahead and scoot on over there. Here we are. And we're on my landing page. Let's check out media. Awesome. And as you can see, there it is. Stay focused. And so remember how I said I want it set up in such a way that when I upload a new series, it will just populate here. Well, I'll really show you how simple that is and how quick. So if I go back to my dashboard, let's say I want to do a series on the Book of Luke. I go to my media menu on the on-demand section, select create media series, and let's go ahead and put a title in. And this will generate this particular series. It's empty right now. It'll put in some artwork for you as placeholders, which you're welcome to switch out with your own. But let's go ahead and just publish this. Let's go back to my website and refresh it. And you'll see, there it is. There's Luke. So you can see how simple this is. And I really encourage you guys, get embeds plugged in, get media in your dashboard, even before you get your app live. That way you can start getting a lot of utility out of these systems. Make sure your messages are shared with your users. So again, this is just one example of embeds. If you have questions about setting up other types of embeds, direct those questions in particular to the Q&A or during a scheduled call. We're more than happy to help you out there. So awesome. Well, good deal. Hopefully that's all pretty clear for us. Awesome. So again, just to reiterate, this is just a great example of how interconnected the dashboard can be with streamlining a lot of your events, your media, having this one central hub in the dashboard to essentially push content to whether it's podcasts, whether it's embeds or your app all simultaneously at the same time. That's really going to make your life a lot easier. We want to make sure that you guys can experience that ease of use in real time. And so I'll show you today a really good example of that actually. So we have media already set up in my dashboard and we're powering our embeds, but what if I use that same media to go ahead and just build out a great app? So we're going to talk about that right now and show you how to get that set up in real time. So let's go ahead and jump into talking about how to build a beautiful app that passes review. I always tell people too when building out applications, think about it in simple terms. You really don't need a very elaborate app to pass review. The nice thing is if you keep it simple, if you power it with those with your media, your events, and different things, we can really get you moving forward with a nice, simple version of your app, get it approved by the stores. And the nice thing is you can continue working on that later. All right, so let's talk a little bit about building that simple version. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and see, just in terms of app content, what are you most excited about in regards to building out applications? So go ahead and take a just brief moment to answer this poll. I'll probably wait here just a couple seconds to make sure we can get all of our responses in, and then I'll share the poll results with you all. So awesome. So just to give you kind of a live take at what's going on here, I am seeing a ton, and I mean a ton, for sermon and other media. It's really taking majority of the votes there. That's awesome. Cool, and I'll wait just for maybe a couple more seconds here for more votes to populate in. Awesome, so I'll go ahead and put on the brakes right now and we'll share the results with you guys. Cool. So just so you can see, we are in the red with sermons and other media. So that's really awesome. So I love that, love seeing that. And what's really cool is we have other areas too, like events and giving and Bible. I'll show you guys kind of some good examples of how you can take these certain categories and get them put into your app. So let's go ahead and talk about that right now. That'd be awesome. So awesome, here we go. So in regards to building an app, we have a couple templated type of tabs that when you get into your dashboard and you get going, you may have experienced this where you click on mobile app and media and you start building. It'll probably, for a majority of you, walks you through this process of setting up this sort of templated layout. So things like your home tab, media, Bible, events, giving, and blog. These all are different areas, different tabs where you can populate in, your media. Maybe on the home page, you want your website to be brought in, or events, you want that event calendar, maybe for your youth group to show up or what have you. So a lot of these tabs have these great functionalities and they're simple to use, really. So one thing just from a high level here in terms of getting an app live, a little secret, you only need 3 tabs in your app to pass review. So just kind of keep that in mind and maybe select 3 to 5 that sound good to you. Maybe that's a Bible, maybe it's a media tab. So that would be awesome. Great. So let's talk for a moment about building a simple version of your app and what you need to actually pass a review. So again, to reiterate on this is so important to note, and it really will just kind of lift any stress. You can totally build a simple version of your app. It doesn't need to be really elaborate to get live. And so some of these simple requirements that are needed to pass a review are the following. You need at least 5 MP3 audio files uploaded to the app. You see we already did that, already had that in my dashboard today. Super simple. At least 3 events in your calendar if you have any calendar set up, and then at least 3 tabs. So that sounds simple enough, right? And in terms of what your app can't have to pass a review, these are really important to note. I do see these pop up every once in a while. And so just to make sure that I don't see these mistakes come through, let's talk about it real quick. Make sure that when you're building out your application, if you're putting any website pages to open in your app, just double check there's no internal sort of giving or purchase option. All right, that will cause your app to fail review, and we don't want that. Stores won't like that. No in-app purchases allowed within the app. So, and as you're putting in these links, just always double check they're not broken. Make sure you have artwork in your app in all places. You'll definitely be able to tell if there's missing artwork, and just no blank pages or tabs, right? So simple enough. You can probably just build out that simple version in no time. And actually today, we can go ahead and do that. So I will show you guys real quick here how we can kind of throw together a simple version using content I already have on my dashboard, but I'll also show some examples of how to get content in as well. And you'll see how fast it is to make an app that can pass review. So just to get going real quick here, we already have in the on-demand section that nice set of media, right? That's all in order. That looks awesome. And there are a couple other areas I want to talk about real quick in terms of building, and that will help you understand the dashboard a bit better. So that way you can figure out how to get content into your dashboard and how to utilize that content to populate and power your app, okay? So there's 4 to 5, I'd say, let's say 5 different areas that you need to know about that power your app. Okay, the first one's gonna be media, super important, right? We've touched on that one quite a bit already. The next one's gonna be events. Events are super easy to set up. You can go into your event calendars on the menu here. You can create a quick event in no time, maybe call it like drive-through church, all right? You can populate in different artwork, description details, location, a lot of different details in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just back out of this example, but just so you guys can see that populating events, super simple to do. All right. There's also giving, which Subsplash giving is an awesome feature. You can make it a clickable button within your app or an entire tab in your specific application as well. So those are 3 out of the 5, okay, media, events, and giving. The fourth one is one of my favorites. I like it a lot. It's links. So this link area right here is where you can bring in external, maybe contact forms, maybe a prayer request form, maybe your website that you want to show in your app. You can see here I already built a couple of link items. I'll show you guys real quick how quick it or how easy it is to get a link item into your app. Let's say, for example, I want my staff page to show up within my application. So here's a staff page from Sage Hills Church. All right, and I want this to look really nice when it loads into the application. And so a little trick here when you're using Snap Pages that I like to do is we can go ahead and actually, let's see 1 second here. We can go right ahead and take any page, for example, even the I'm new form. All right, that's good. And so let's say we take our I'm new form and I want this header to disappear. I can quickly type in embed $1 on the URL, and that removes the header from view. And what this will do for us is this will get this particular page to show up in the app, and it'll look really slick without any extra details there that we don't want. So now I go back with that link to my dashboard in the links library, select create link, and I want to go ahead and populate in this I'm new form. So I'll call I'm new, all right, drop in the URL and tell it to open inside the app. Remember, if giving is shown in the app, click that external button and you won't have any trouble there. Awesome, so we'll go ahead and save. Cool, so now we have a lot of great content in our application, or in our dashboard rather. We got media, we got events, we got our links set up with different forms. We really have enough right now to go ahead and build out a simple version of the app. So let's talk about how to do that. So once you populate your dashboard with the content you'd like to have within your app, you go over your apps menu, select mobile app, and you'll see here your different tabs that are in here. So I have my home tab. A home tab is a really good place to have your users land on. And I usually tell people, think about the home tab in terms like this. What are maybe 4 to, like, let's say 8 items that you would like to have right in front of the user, right when they open up the application? Let's say maybe it's a prayer request form, maybe it's an area for notes or a bulletin, or maybe it's your media library. You want to be clickable right in that menu. You really want this to be that quick kind of touch point sort of place for the user, all right, right when they open it up. So I want to make changes to this home tab. So I've selected it, and down here it's showing I can go ahead and edit this list for the home tab. And what a list is, it's essentially like a container for all of your other items like media, events, giving, and links. And so this is that 5th component I was talking about to power your app, is list. They categorize all the different items. So let's go ahead into this home list and start adding in some items. Really simple to do. I can click add item. Gives me a nice menu where I can begin to select these different series I've created. Perhaps I want some links in here too, like notes and baptism. All right, and let's select an events calendar just to really make this look nice. We'll add it all in, and we'll save our changes. So real quick too, you can choose how you want these items to display in your app through this design section as well. I like this sort of view here with these different wide images. You can kind of toggle around, switch it up, see what you like best for your different list views, and that'd be really awesome. So let's go ahead and see what these changes look like in real time through using our church app on my iPhone. So hopefully you should all see my phone here in just a second. Here we go. There's a church app here. And through the church app, you see there's no changes so far. All I need to do is just a simple refresh. Okay, and there we have Luke. We got stay focused. We got I'm new, and I can begin clicking into these different forms if I wanted to. I can select my media library, there's stay focused, and begin diving into these different details and playing these items. All right, and I have some other tabs in there like a Bible tab, got that media library in the home where I have these different forms. So you can see how simple this is to build out. And we even have those images that pre-populate in there for you. You're welcome to switch out. Got a bunch of other stock images too that are super helpful too. So hopefully we are all set there to understand how quick and simple it is to build a nice version of the app to get going live on the stores that can pass review. So let's go ahead and switch gears real quick here. So now that we understand how to build a simple version of the app, what's going to be important to understand are some other requirements with getting an app live, all right? Because so far we've touched on how to build a simple version with just media, events, and some links, and making sure there's artwork there. It looks good, right? And so let's think about this for a moment. Let's think about an app in terms of a house, right? You're building out an app. Let's say the application is sort of like a home, right? You're putting up the four walls, you're putting in a television, maybe some artwork. That's building out the app, right? But like any good builder, you would not build a home unless you laid a foundation first. And so these are really foundational requirements right here that we're going to talk about real quick that you need in order to get your app approved by the app stores. All right. So those requirements are the following: Apple and Google developer accounts. All right. App Store info form, tax information form, branding, and locations. So let's go ahead and talk about these few items right now. So I want to take us back real quick to our Subsplash dashboard and show you where you can find these so you can start getting them done on your own. So right when you log in to the welcome page on your dashboard, you'll be greeted by these different tiles here. And these tiles really help guide you through some of these processes to lay down that foundation, to make sure the concrete is in place before you start building. All right, so let's go ahead and check them out. So for Apple and Google developer accounts, you can begin clicking into these tiles here, and they do a really good job of walking you through setting up a developer account for your organization. Now, just from a high level, I'll just keep this short. A developer account, for those of you that don't know, is crucial in order to actually publish this application for you. So for example, if you went into the App Store on your iPhone right now or Android device, typed in Facebook, what you would see is a Facebook icon, and then below it, the seller name would say Facebook. All right, so now for you, maybe your church is called Grace City Church. Well, you would need to create this developer account for Grace City Church in order to sell the app called Grace City app, okay? So there's that correlation there, really important. Without that, it's impossible to get an app live. Okay, so just walk through those tiles, you'll get beautiful green check marks indicating you are successful with completing that step. And then through account setup as well, we have this nice menu where you can begin to click through this gear cog here. You'll have the next most appropriate step for you to complete, whether that's uploading your branding, your App Store title, or your tax information forms. Really simple to walk along and complete. And the nice thing is, once you get these two sections done for app and account setup, and you have that beautiful version of your app built out, ready to go, it will say, a little pop-up will appear saying to submit your app, and then you're all set. Submit that form, we're good to go. We can begin reviewing your app, make sure it passes, and get it live and approved in the stores. Awesome. So if you guys are feeling pretty good about that so far, go ahead and just raise your hand on up, and that'd be awesome if that was all tracking with us. So good deal. Cool, cool. Seeing those hands. Good deal, guys. All right. So moving on forward with our last point for today. So in all of this, we want to make sure that you feel like you have a good connection to resources, whether that's myself, maybe one of my other teammates on the onboarding team. Our heart is to make sure that you guys can build out simple versions of your apps that look beautiful, to help you walk through these different processes, to really make your experience here great and wonderful, for that ease of use with setting up different tools, like I said, that you can get going today. And so for us to understand how to make this happen a bit better, let's talk about some different ways we can help you. So in just a little bit, by the way, as I go through these three sections here that you're seeing, we're going to make sure we can drop different links into the chat. So go ahead and save those to your browser, click on those links, and get them pulled up as we share them with you. So one of the best ways to get support, I think, just from the ground up, is going to be the Knowledge Center. So we'll go ahead and share that in the chat with you. The Knowledge Center can be accessed from your dashboard underneath the menu that says Help. Its whole job is to provide great video and written articles to you, great resources there. I think we have well over 200 different articles within the Knowledge Center. You can even schedule calls with us through there as well. So check out the Knowledge Center if you're interested in different topics on building or videos. Our onboarding specialist team is dedicated to help you get a great app going live. We'll make sure that you have that resource to schedule a call with us whenever it's convenient for you. And I typically tell people to plan on scheduling at least 2 to 3 calls within the next week or two, and we can really help you get fast forward on building out that app that can get submitted. We've been seeing a lot of our clients who get on calls with us go live much quicker than those who don't. And some of these individuals, I'd say actually most of them are getting submitted to the stores within 2 weeks time. So if you want to be within that group, definitely recommend plan on getting into 2 or 3 calls with us, and we'll help you along the way. And of course, you can always schedule more if you'd like. Awesome. And lastly, we have weekly webinars available. we'll make sure to share that resource with you as well. These webinars are great for just live Q&A, kind of walking through some different steps, similar to that of what we've touched on today. Myself and some other individuals lead those webinars, so we'll be happy to see you in there as well. Awesome. So in terms of next great steps for getting your app live, one of those requirements to get an app live is media. And remember, media doesn't only power the app, but it can power embeds too. So you're kind of just taking out two things at once, I'd say, and that's awesome. So go ahead, and if you want a good step forward there, start uploading media to your dashboard in that on-demand menu. Meet that requirement for the app stores. Get that simple version of your app live and going. And secondly, meet with your expert. Schedule a call with us. Like I said, 2 to 3 calls planned on that, and that'd be fantastic over these next couple weeks here to get you going nice and quick. So again, we will go ahead and share those links in the chat today, and we'll go ahead and pass off the baton now to Arthur to bring us home. And thank you guys for paying attention. I love seeing all those questions come through. So Arthur, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, we got some great questions coming through in the Q&A, so thank you for those of you submitting questions. I've selected a few of them to be answered live here, and then keep on putting those questions in to the Q&A, and we'll see how many we can get to. And so I wanted to start with one. The question was, do we need to use Subsplash Giving, or can we integrate another platform that we use currently? So great question. This comes up a lot in the onboarding process. So you can use a different giving platform. And you can do that via the method of using like a link item. So as Dalton was showing there, that's one of the main ways to power the app. So if you have, giving with another platform or another provider, you can find that link and add it to a link item and present that in a bunch of different ways in the app as well. So you could definitely do that. Subsplash Giving, we do reserve basically the tab structure for Subsplash Giving. So if you have Subsplash Giving, you can create that giving tab. If you do want your giving to be a tab on its own and have it not be Subsplash Giving, it'll just be like a 2-click experience. So you can create a build your own tab and then add a link item with your giving provider and label that tab giving. And then when you click on that, you would then click on the link item to give. We just want to make sure that all those giving links are set to open externally so they can pass the App Store review. So it just has to process that giving outside of the app. So thank you so much. All right, and then I see another great question here. Someone who has several years worth of content on Vimeo, and how can I get that populated into kind of a new system? So this one I'm going to let Dalton take a crack at this one here, because there's a lot of different ways to kind of utilize Vimeo. And I'm also going to tease that we have a bulk uploading tool coming soon. So right now you can bring in about 10 items at once, but we are in the process right now of basically unveiling a bulk media transfer tool, which will allow you to bring much more in at one time. But yeah, Dalton, what are your thoughts on this one?
Sure. Yeah. So with Vimeo in particular, if you have Vimeo Pro, if you have that particular package, getting content from your Vimeo account into the dashboard to your media items is super simple. We actually have an article on it underneath help here in your dashboard if you click into it. And if you type in Vimeo, you'll be able to find that article in particular. And I'll go ahead and, for the sake of time, I won't display the entire particular article, but it does walk through on how to essentially copy and paste. You have to find the special link within your Vimeo account under your share settings. It's called an MP4 link URL. If you grab that particular URL for that particular item, you can go back to your Subsplash dashboard, go into on demand. Let's say we want to go ahead and create a new item. We want to bring that sermon on over, that message. So I want to call this test. Click on create. And then in these media item details, under the video section, we'll select enter a URL, and there's a spot for MP4. We can go ahead and just paste it on in. And so once you do that, you've established that connection from Vimeo Pro into our system, and it will play the same way as if you downloaded an actual file. So that's pretty awesome. And as a little side note too, if you have a live streaming service that provides an M3U8 link needed for live streaming, so this is not a normal type of URL, got to be an M3U8, you can plug in your live stream into an individual item as well. That way you can have a live stream media item to populate in your live streams. So hopefully that helps you all out there. Let us know if you need any more clarity.
Awesome. And then another question here, do you have graphic sizes, pixel dimensions listed anywhere? So Dalton, if you can kind of share and show the image areas where those are populated, I'm going to also share out a great article on that from our Knowledge Center. So yeah, we definitely list those sizes. So if you're adding an item, you can see where Dalton's going there. You can see square is 1024 by 1024, and it gives the maximum size and file types. And then each one of those wide and banner also gives the image size as well. And then I'm going to throw in the article here on image sizes to help out with that also. There you go. So thank you so much for that question. It's definitely one that is really important. Also to our system now, it will help auto-generate images. So just to make sure that you help pass those requirements. So it'll auto-generate images into items, and then you can swap them out with your own or keep them if they're good for now, that sort of thing. All right, next one here. I have a website with Wix, not sure how to insert media onto my website. So this is good. So Dalton was using the Snap Pages website, and the way he was bringing it in wasn't even actually through an integration. He was just using kind of Snap Pages code blocks. So most website builders have a way of bringing in a code block like from Subsplash from our embeds. So Dalton, you want to speak to that a little bit more? And I'm going to put out also an article here on Wix, but if you have any kind of tips for other platforms, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I know we have this article pulled up right now. This is on how do I set up web embeds. And depending on your particular website builder too, you may find some common issues sort of related to different themes and blockers as you may put in a code. But we have some different articles to help troubleshoot any particular issues. So Arthur's going to go ahead and provide some of those articles in regards to that answer. But really, I'm not personally too familiar with Wix. However, I do know it is very common for website builders to have an area to insert embed codes. So I'd maybe recommend if you're trying to look around Wix and figure out, all right, where can I put in a web embed code? Go ahead, maybe search that up on Google or YouTube it. The bottom line from our side of things, really, if you're trying to establish that connection, what you need to know from our end is where you can find your embed code to plug into your site. And like I had mentioned in passing before, you can find your embeds underneath the web section here. Click on embeds and click preview. And this is where you can go ahead and select your particular sort of filtered options to bring in your content and get that streamlined over to your own website on Wix. All right, so I hope that helps. Again, maybe you just have to look around on your end and see where you can go ahead and put in a code. So.
All right, awesome. And let's see, a few more here. I'm going to check out some other ones that have been coming in here. Let's see. I like this one. So answer live here. Do you have to upload a separate file for people who just want to listen and not watch a video? Want to take that one, Dalton?
Sure. Awesome. So this is kind of a cool feature I like. If you have a particular MP4 video you're uploading, but you're like, hey, maybe I just want people to listen to this, that's totally doable. As a matter of fact, when you go to your media section in the on-demand area, you can see if I go into Courage, for example, this particular item I created, I uploaded this video here. All right, here's the video, and it auto-generates an MP3 for me to go ahead and I can use that for offline listening. I can use it to power my podcast. And I could proceed to go ahead and just remove this particular video file. And now I just have media there. So it'll auto-generate that for you, no problems at all. And you can remove the video from view and just save those changes. And you should be all set.
That's awesome. Yeah, I see another question here about search within the app. Wondering, if nothing's coming up and you're searching for an item, that kind of thing. So the search does pull from title, subtitle, and then also speaker in the app. So search is something I would definitely love to see that built out in a more robust fashion with like tags and keywords from the description. Currently, though, it only pulls from those 3 areas. So if you have a media item and you're searching the title and it's not coming up, I would definitely contact our support team, just kind of submit a quick ticket, let them know that specific circumstance, and they can see if there's maybe an issue going on there. But otherwise, if it is pulling title, subtitle, and speaker, that's the expected change there. And then another one I saw here too is organizing media series. This one I think is actually something everyone could benefit from real quick as well. Dalton, can you kind of go into a little bit of the difference between using, let's say, a smart list and then a different kind of list where you can kind of drag and drop content?
Yeah, and I may also touch on as well just populating series, because you can do that in a couple different ways. So just from the ground up here, let's say you have a new series you've created like Luke. If you want particular items you've uploaded in your dashboard to filter into these different collections, upon creating the item, you can actually select where you want it to live. So if I wanted an item to go to Luke, I could call this chapter 1. All right, and then when I create that item, it'll inherit the artwork of that series, matching it, and it will go ahead and find its home in there in that particular Luke series that says chapter 1. All right, so in terms of getting your particular series to appear the way you want inside of the app, quick note on that. So your media tab by default is going to be connected to what is known as a smart list, and its job is to sort of auto-populate any on-demand content by certain filters to just auto-populate right into your media tab. So let's talk about that just for a moment. In the library section, under list, or even better yet, if I go to apps and select mobile app, if I click on media here, what it's going to display is a particular list where I can go in and begin editing that list and choose how I want my media series to show. I actually took down my smart list function though, and it's lying dormant right now in this inactive tab menu. I'll have it appear in just a second. And that way I can show you guys the particular filtered settings that do that work of auto-populating. So here's this media tab. Yours will probably look something like this upon initial setup. And so the way we understand this one a bit better is when we click into it, we will see some different options for filtering by item, by date, and that sort of featured list there. So let's go ahead and take a peek at that now that I have that in my dashboard. So I'll click on media, select edit content, and then here we have these different filters. And you can see right now it's filtered just to display series. So in other words, anytime I create a new series, it's just going to auto-populate right into the app according to these filters. If I change it to items, then it's going to be on an item basis, and it's going to auto-populate the most recent item I upload. Now, for some of us, we don't want that sort of functionality. We'd rather have a sort of drag and drop functionality. And that's where a regular list would come in handy. So you can go ahead and go to your list library here. And I'm going to jump out of here. Awesome. And if you want to just create a brand new list for media, call this media list. I'll say 2.0. That way I won't lose track of it. Awesome. All right, so in this media list 2.0, I can go ahead and just add in the series I want to show. So no filtered settings here. I have to manually add them, but I can drag and drop, have them show the way I want. And getting this set up to a tab is really simple. So let's say we want to establish that connection between list to tabs. So that way our media shows up in our app the way we want. We'd simply go over to the apps menu in our dashboard underneath mobile app. And then that's where we can go ahead and build out a new tab and tell it to pull from that particular list. So think about it as this tab is going to reference that list. And so actually, you can do that underneath the tab settings there where it says Manage Tabs, and it'll walk you through this build your own tab function where you can choose what list you want your tab to pull from. Thankfully, though, I already have this particular media list connected to a tab for us. So I can just click Edit Content, jump in, and I can drag and drop and choose how I want to show. So I know that concept can be a little bit confusing, choosing how you want to nest lists and connect them to tabs, but hopefully that helps clear up the water for some of you in case you want that little bit more of a personalized or customized touch to your media archive. So
That's
awesome.
Great. And we're getting real close to the end here in terms of just our allotted time. So we do have a few more questions in the Q&A. So if we haven't gotten to your question, I do apologize. I'll look to follow up with a few of you after the webinar as well. Hey, Dalton, maybe one final one. I see someone here struggling with the last steps of the Apple developer account. They have their DUNS number, but DUNS have been pushing back on them verifying that they're like a legal entity. You know, one, can you just kind of make sure that we have the right resources out there for everybody? I would highly recommend jumping on a like an app onboarding call or an Apple developer call with us. But Dalton, if you have any other kind of wizardry with how to contact DUNS and all that fun stuff, that'd be great.
Oh, totally. Yes. So this is really common. A lot of organizations, when they go to find a DUNS number, and just for those of you that don't know what DUNS is, it's basically a third party that Apple uses to verify that your organization is a legitimate organization. The way they determine that is just through having records, sort of public records, whether that's tax information, maybe your location of your organization, those sort of details. And with those details, the Duns and Bradstreet, that's the company, they create a particular number called the Duns number that Apple uses to verify your organization. Google doesn't require this, just Apple. And so oftentimes for a lot of organizations, when you go to dnb.com, search up that DUNS number, you'll find a DUNS number for you. But when you take that number and plug it into Apple, maybe you'll get like a red pop-up saying, hey, you need to update your number, or maybe it's not verified. That's usually just saying that DUNS doesn't have your information up to date. So what you'll want to do is actually get a hold of DUNS. You'll need to submit a case number to them. You can do this through dnb.com. You can Google search them, find their area where you can submit a case to them. And once you submit a case to them, letting them know, I think they actually have a section where it says to update a DUNS number. They're going to just require a couple different files from you. I think they even suggest different options for types of files you can upload to get that all up to date. When you get that case number from them, once you submit it, I usually tell people don't wait longer than 3 days to hear back from DUNS. Poke at them a little bit, see, hey, is it done yet? Are we good to go? Because once you get that number all settled out and verified, then you can take your new number or your updated with your updated information, plug that into Apple's system. And I think usually after the update on the DUNS side of things, it does take Apple and DUNS to about a week's time to communicate, have their systems update. So that way Apple can verify your information is up to date, your organization is legitimate, and this all sort of looks different too on a country to country basis. But I mean, bottom line, if you're having some trouble with this, try going to their website, go about it yourself in terms of getting it updated. But if you start to feel like you're hitting a wall, I wouldn't wait too long just to get some help. Get on a scheduled call with us. We have developer calls available where our team can help walk you through any sort of these hurdles here. So
Yeah.
hopefully that helps.
Yeah, and one final part on that, you were also asking, along with verifying DUNS, mentioning that you're using a Gmail and they're not loving that Gmail email address. So I'll send out an article here, but for that verification contact and for your email for your organization, you can get around that by using an email that ends in at outlook.com, at icloud.com, at mail.com. So like Gmail, Hotmail, and Yahoo, they won't accept those. And so they won't connect that with your organization. So you may have to look at just creating a quick free email account through Outlook or one of those other ones there. And once you do that and use it, then they'll see that as a valid email generally. So I'm going to put that article out here as well, and that just kind of shows you it's got a lot of stuff in this article, but there's a section there on the verification and email addresses here. So email DUNS and Apple, just send that right to you guys. So that is there in the chat. And as I mentioned before too, we'll send out this recording a little bit later today. And then I would just love to see you guys in the app onboarding calls. We have some availability as of today. So if you want to try to jump on one today, we have a few openings, but definitely plenty open this week. And we also have some weekend availability. And we've recently added new onboarding specialists that are in like the Eastern time zone. So we have some pretty early Eastern appointments as well, just trying to find out where everyone is at and help them out with that. So with that said, I mean, just thank you guys so much for joining us. If you want to be in another webinar, you can check the Knowledge Center. You'll find more webinars next week as well. And we look forward to working with you to get the app live and see some great value out there. So thank you so much.